Hello and welcome you all guys. Today we will see the lesson The Snake and the Mirror from Beehive book of ninth standard. Do you like to look at yourself in the mirror? Everyone likes in the to look in the mirror. So what do you think about at such time? Have you ever seen a dog, a cat or a bird look into a mirror? So, what do you think it sees? Have you ever seen any animal or any birds or dog, cat look into the mirror and just watch their beauty or admire beauty in a mirror? So, this is the chapter about the snake and the mirror. So, here, what the relation between the snake and the mirror we will see in the chapter. And now read this humorous story about a doctor, a snake, and a mirror. So that is, it seems very interesting story. So guys, let's get started. Has a snake ever coiled itself round any part of your body? A full-blooded cobra. All of us fell silent. The question came from the homeopath. The topic came up when we were discussing snakes. We listened all attentively as the doctor continued with his tale. It was a hot summer night, about 10 o'clock. I had my meal at a restaurant and returned to my room. I heard a noise from above as I opened the door. The sound was familiar. So, the sound was familiar. One could say that the rats and I shared the room. I took out my box of matches and lighted the kerosene lamp on the table. So here the story started with the name of the snake, um, and here the homeopathic doctor. You know what is homeopathic doctor? The doctor of means who practice homeopath. So the doctor is here narrating the story about a doctor, homeopathic doctor, and he asked the writer and the group if anyone had ever been wrapped up by a cobra snake. It seems very scaring. Um, by the name cobra, it's very scary to everyone. And the audience became silent due to the fear of the cobra snake. And then the doctor narrated his story. It was hot summer night and almost it is 10 o'clock, and he was returning home after having his dinner at the restaurant. And as the doctor was opening the door of his room, he heard a noise from above, the noise of rats, and but he did not react because he was used to such noises. Such noises is about rat, and he was used to listen to this kind of noise, and it was the noise of rats. And there were many rats in his room, so he was used to the noise. It is very common to him. So there was no light in the doctor's room, so he lighted the kerosene lamp with the matchbox. The house was not electrified, it was a small rented room. I had just set up medical practice and my earnings were meager. I had about 60 rupees in my suitcase along with some shirts and dhotis. I also possessed one solitary black coat which I was then wearing. So here he had taken a small room on rent, and as he had just started his medical practice and he was earning very less because this is the starting of his practice, and that is why he was living in such a shabby, dirty condition room. So he told the writer that he had just 60 rupees in his bag, and further he added that he had some shirts and dhotis to wear. That time they are actually wearing dhoti, so nowadays you're carrying jeans and all. And he also had black colored coat, and which he was wearing at the time of the incident, at the time of any occasion. So here meek means small in quantity, solitary means single, So I took off my black coat, white shirt, and not so white vest and hung them up. So here what he said, he removed his coat, his shirt, and his vest, and he says that the vest was not so white, which means that it was dirty actually. And I opened the two windows in the room. It was an outer room with one wall facing the open yard, and it had a tiled roof with long supporting gables that rested on the beams over the wall, and there was no ceiling, and there was a regular traffic of rats to and from the beam. So here, yard is the open area like a garden or veranda. Gable means upper part of the wall below the sloping roof. So here, then he opened the windows. The room which he had taken on rent was on the outside of the house, and one wall of the room faced the garden, and the roof had tile on it, and the gable was supported. Gable is the upper part of the wall which is having sloping roof, and the roof had tile on it, and the gable was supported by the beams. Inside the room there was no roof, and the beam on which the gable was supported was full of rats, and which went in and out of the room through it. Means always there is some sound made by the rats. I made my bed and pulled it close to the wall. I lay down, but I could not sleep. I got up and went out to the veranda for a little air, but the wind god seemed to have taken time off. So here he set his bed. Taking time off means to take a day off, take a holiday. So he set his bed near the wall and he laid down to sleep, but could not able to sleep. It seemed that the wind god has taken time off, means that the wind was not blowing, and the wind god has taken a day off maybe, and he was on a holiday, and so wind was not blowing at all, and he had gone out to get some fresh air because he did not have any fan or cooler in his room, and he was not feeling hot inside the room. I went back into the room and sat down on the chair. I opened the box beneath the table and took out a book, the Materia Medica. I opened it at the table on which stood the lamp and a large mirror. A small comb lay beside the mirror. So here he came back to his room and sat on a chair, and then he opened the box under the table and took out the book named Materia Medica, and he kept it on the same table on which a lamp, a mirror, and a small comb was lying there, and he opened it and sat down. One feels tempted to look into a mirror when it is near one. So I took a look in those days, and I was a great admirer of beauty, and believed in making myself look handsome. So now, as he was sitting in front of the mirror, maybe all of us, when we are sitting in front of the mirror, we look our image in the mirror. He also looked at his image in the mirror, and he says that he was a great admirer of beauty, and he was a young man, and he liked to appreciate beautiful things, and wanted to improve his look to look more handsome, means smiling from this side or taking pose from this side and making his hair. So this is the thing he is doing in front of the mirror, and you all guys are doing, maybe all of us are doing in front of the mirror. I was unmarried and I was a doctor. I felt I had to make my presence felt. So here, as he was unmarried and he was a doctor too, and he was eligible bachelor, and so he wanted to make people know that he was also available. I picked up the comb and ran it through my hair and adjusted the parting so that it looked straight and nice. And then he is trying to comb his hair, try to set them properly, And again I heard the sound from above, and he again, when he was combing his hair, he again heard the same sound from above, but ignored it. I took a close look at my face in the mirror, and I made an important decision. I would shave daily and grow a thin mustache to look more handsome. Now, while um, looking at the mirror, he made some decisions, important decisions. He looked carefully in the mirror and decided that he would shave daily and grow a thin mustache, because he thought that he would look better and more handsome with it, with a mustache. I was, after all, a bachelor and a doctor. Bachelor, a man who has not never been married, so that is bachelor. The doctor here repeats that he was not married and was a doctor too, so he wanted to say that he was supposed to look very handsome and he was supposed to be good looking, so that he could get a better match for himself. I looked into the mirror and smiled. It was an attractive smile. I made another earth shaking decision. I would always keep that attractive smile on my face to look more handsome. Earth shaking decision means something very important. So now again he appreciated himself and said that he had an attractive smile. Another thing that he decided was that he would always keep smiling because he looked better than when he smiled. And the doctor was being ironic, and when he had that to keep smiling was an earth shaking decision. That is an earth shaking decision, to keep the smile always on his face. So I was, after all, a bachelor and a doctor too. On top of it, again came that noise from above. On top of it means to add on to something. So again, he is stressing that he was a bachelor and a doctor too, and he thought that he had a lot of value, and that is why he wanted to look handsome. I got up, paced up and down the room. Then another lovely thought struck me. I would marry. I would get married to a woman doctor who had plenty of money and a good medical practice. She had to be fat for a valid reason. If I made some silly mistake and needed to run away, she should not be able to run after me and catch me. So this is the very funny one. So here he paced means, first we will see the meanings. Paced means walked, and valid is the logical or justificable. So here he got up from his chair and started walking up and down in the room, and then he decided on one more thing, that he decided to marry a woman doctor and one who had lot of money and good medical practice. And further, the doctor thought that he would marry a fat girl. Why fat girl? Just because that is a very important reason behind that. For that he had a logical reason also, and he reasoned that if sometime he makes some mistake and his wife chases him in anger to hit him, and he will not be able to run fast and catch him if he would be fat. So this is the very important reason behind that. With such thoughts in my mind, I resumed my seat in the chair in front of the table. There were no more sounds from above. Suddenly, there came a dull thud of, as if a rubber tube had fallen to the ground. Surely nothing to worry about. So here, just move to the next page. Surely there is nothing to worry about. So, thinking all these things, the doctor again sat down on the chair, and now the sound had stopped. But all of a sudden, something fell down, making the sound of a thud. Thud is like the sound hit something is made up of rubber, or maybe fallen. It felt like some rubber tube had fallen, and the doctor did not bother about it because he is busy with his appearance. Even so, I thought I would turn around and take a look, but then he thought of turning around to see what had fallen. He just turned around. No sooner had I turned than a fat snake wriggled over the back of the chair and landed on my shoulder. The snake's landing on me and my turnings were simultaneous. So wriggled means crawl, and simultaneous is happen at the same time. So here, as soon as the doctor turned, what he saw that a big fat snake had crawled over the chair and sat on his shoulder. The timing of the doctor's turning round and the snake's landing on his shoulder was the same. So that is very scary. I didn't jump, I didn't tremble, I didn't cry out. There was no time to do any such things. He did not panic, jump, or tremble. He did not shiver. He did not scream. It happened so fast, so instantly, that he did not have any time to react. The snake slithered along my shoulder and coiled around my left arm above the elbow. Slithered means twisting and crawling motion of the snake. So the snake moved in such a way that if it wrapped itself on the doctor's left arm like a coil. The hood was spread out. Its head was hardly 3 or 4 inches from my face. Hood means head of the snake. It was in such a position just 3 or 4 inches away from his face, and that if he would move slightly, the snake would have bitten him. So it would not be correct to say merely that I sat there holding my breath. I was turned to stone, but my mind was very active. So here it is very scary situation. The doctor says that he was not only holding his breath but had turned into the stone just like a statue. He was not able to do anything, although physically he was still like a statue, but his mind was very active and he was thinking that what he should do next. The door opened into darkness in the light of the lamp. I sat there like a stone image in the flesh. Now there was darkness all around him, outside the room, inside the room. It was all dark, and it was all very dark. There was only a single light, the light of the lamp, and in that light he was sitting like a statue. I felt then the great presence of the creator of his world and this universe. God was there. So here, as he was in trouble and he started feeling the presence of God, and everybody is doing in that situation, because in this situation only God will help us, and he was not able to do anything, so he started thinking of God. Suppose I said something and he did not like it. I tried in my imagination to write in bright letters outside my little heart the word, "Oh God." Now he decided not to speak lest that he should anger the snake, and in his heart the doctor was praying to God to save his life. There was some pain in my left arm. It was as if a thick leaden rod, a rod made of molten fire, was slowly but powerfully crushing my arm, and the arm was beginning to be drained of all strength. So what could I do? As this snake has coiled itself, it had wrapped itself around his arm, and it was experiencing a lot of pain, and he was feeling as if a thick molten rod made of lead was crushing his arm and breaking it, and he felt helpless and he could not do anything to save himself. At my slightest movement, the snake would strike me. Death lurked 4 inches away. Strike means attack, lurk means hide. He knew that if he moved a bit, the snake would attack him. Death was very near, and it was sitting at a distance of only 4 inches away. Suppose it stuck, what was the medicine? So now the doctor is thinking about the how it cure if it had happened. Suppose it stuck. What was the medicine I had to take? There were no medicines in the room. I was but a poor, foolish, and stupid doctor. I forgot my danger and smiled feebly at myself. Feebly is weakly. Um, he thought that if the snake bite him, and then what would he do? Which medicine he would take? And then he recalled that there was no medicine in his room, and he felt that he was a poor, foolish, and stupid doctor. And he was feeling very weak, and as he did not have any way to come out of the situation, so he smiled at his foolishness. It seemed as if God appreciated that. The snake turned its head. It looked into the mirror and saw its reflection. So now, first doctor is seeing his reflection, and now the snake. The doctor felt that God appreciated the doctor's realization of his mistake, and something favorable happened, and the doctor's life was saved. Here the snake moved his head to the other side and saw the mirror, and it looked at the mirror and it saw its own reflection in it. I do not claim it was the first snake that had ever looked into the mirror, but it was certain that the snake was looking into the mirror. It was not possible. It is not possible that any snake never looked at itself in the mirror before. But yes, this snake was looking at itself in the mirror, and the doctor was surprised because the snake was looking at itself in the mirror very carefully. Was it admiring its own beauty? He was thinking that maybe it was admiring his beauty. Was it trying to make an important decision about growing a mustache, or using eyeshadows and the mascara, or wearing a vermilion spot on its forehead? Vermilion spot means a red bindi that usually the women's are having on their forehead. The doctor imagines that the snake must be imagining different styles, like he was thinking few minutes back when he was looking at his face in the mirror. He thought that maybe the snake was also doing the same thing, was thinking of growing a mustache, or maybe of wearing eyeshadow and mascara to look more pretty, or maybe it was thinking of wearing a red colored bindi on its forehead. I did not know anything for certain. What sex was this snake? Was it a male or female? I will never know, for the snake unwound itself from my arm and slowly slithered into my lap. From there, it crept onto the table and moved towards the mirror. Perhaps it wanted to enjoy his reflection at closer quarters. Closer quarters means to get a closer look. So here the doctor did not know whether it was a male or a female snake, and he says that he will never come to know this, because just then it crawled from his arm and moved down into his lap, and from there it jumped and started crawling over the table. It crawled very close to the mirror and started looking at itself. The doctor thought that maybe snake wanted to look at itself and have a closer look at its appearance. I was no mere image cut in granite. I was suddenly a man of flesh and blood. So here the doctor was, granite means a form of a marble, it's a stone. The doctor was no longer a mere statue made of stone. Now, as soon as the snake crawled and got down from him, he came back to life. Still holding my breath, I got up from the chair. I quietly went out through the door into the veranda. From there, I leapt into the yard and ran for all I was worth. All I was worth means all the strength that I had. So, as the snake had crawled out of the doctor's lap and he stood up, and till now he had stopped his breath because he was scared of the snake, and now he quietly moved out of the door, jumped from the garden, and ran away. Phew! Each of us heaved a sigh of relief. Somebody asked, Doctor, is your wife very fat? So, this is the funny thing. All the people who were listening to the doctor's story got relief and took a deep breath after they came to know that he was saved. And someone from that group asked him that whether his wife was fat. No, the doctor said, God willed otherwise. My life companion is a thin, reedy person with the gift of a sprinter. So here doctor said a reedy person means a thing or a person resembling a tall, thin leaf plant of the grass family, like thin. And now he replied that his wife was thin and tall, just like a reed plant. Reed plant is the leaf that is from the grass family. And because God didn't want his wife to be fat, so she was thin and could run very fast. Someone else asked, Doctor, when you ran, did the snake follow you? So someone from the group asked this question to doctor. Another person from the group, maybe, that whether the snake chased him. The doctor replied, I ran and ran till I reached a friend's house. Immediately, I smeared oil all over myself and took a bath. I changed into fresh clothes. Smeared means covered with. Now he replied that he ran and ran till he reached a friend's house, and there he took an oil massage and took a bath and wore fresh clothes, and he did not know if the snake had chased him or not because he did not look behind him. The next morning at about 8:30, I took my friend and one or two others to my room to move my things from there, but we found we had little to carry. Little to carry means his belongings were stolen. Little to carry means all the things had stolen away and there was nothing much left to carry away. So now here the next day around 8:30 in the morning, the doctor along with two of his friends went to his room to bring his belongings from there, and there was not much stuff to take. Some thieves had removed most of my things. The room had been cleaned out, but not really. The thieves had left behind one thing as a final insult. What was that? I asked. The doctor said, My vest, the dirty one. The fellow had such a sense of cleanliness. The rascal could have taken it and used it after washing it with a soap and water. So the word rascal is a mischievous or a creaky person, especially a child or a man or a naughty person, we can say. Someone had stolen most of the things from his room but left behind one thing. And that one thing is his vest. He thought that the thing which he left behind was so insulting him. The writer asked the doctor, what was the thing that the thief left behind? He replied that he left the vest, which was dirty and was hanging on the wall. And he added that the thief was so much into cleanliness that he left the dirty vest there only. He says that the naughty thief could have taken it and along with him washed him with soap and could have used it. Did you see the snake the next day, doctor? Someone asked. So the doctor, if he saw the snake the next day, the doctor laughed. I have ever seen it since. It was a snake which was taken with its own beauty. Taken with means attracted by. So here he laughed and replied that after that night he never saw that snake. Maybe the snake was attracted towards its own beauty. That's why it looked so carefully in the mirror. So this is the story, and it was written by Vaikom Muhammad Bashir and translated from the Malayalam by V. Abdullah. So this is all about the story. I hope you guys understood, and if you want question answers, so let me know in the comment section, and we will get back soon with the next story. Till then, bye. Please like, share and subscribe my channel. See you soon. Bye.